Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on July 15th, 2022 at approximately 6:20 a.m. PST. Had an interesting situation yesterday. Now I want to talk to you about literally how to reclaim power over your life. Now do understand, I returned to this world for one primary reason, and that is to remind everybody in existence that working together we can make this a better world for everybody, for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide. And what I mean by that is the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use to put my own life in order. The philosophies I talk about are the ones I personally live by. So with that in mind, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. As there's a lot of information. And at this point, this is literally a starting point. I can go back over a whole pile of things. But here's the thing. How do you reclaim power over your life? Are you feeling like you're not in dominant control? Like things are not running as smoothly as you'd like? Do you feel like you're behind the eight ball? Maybe you're feeling like you're cursed because things are going so bad for you so frequently. Well, what we're doing at this point is real simple. I ran into an interesting block just yesterday. Got hit broadside. And realistically, given what I do for a living, I should have seen it coming. But I've been doing my best to trust that certain things would happen. Well, trust just went out the window. And here's why. I've been dealing with big companies, what have you, trying to get things done because I made the mistake of going, they've got the distribution, they claim all this stuff, it's hogwash. Frankly, they're great salespeople, these bigger corporations, and there are some that are undoubtedly good. Thus far, my experience has been very simple. And this is why I'm not using names in any of the companies. I've used one person's name at their direct permission. And I will continue using that. And that is Dave Scott, who runs Spaced Out Radio at spacedoutradio.com. I've been working with him for 8 years. Where I go on the radio. On the first Friday of every month from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And he has been instrumental in helping me in certain ways to get things up and running. But here's how you reclaim power. First and foremost, and I've shown you this before, but I'm going to do it again anyway. This funny little sign. Those 4 words, I am worth it, are the 4 most powerful words I've come across this lifetime in any language to help reestablish self-worth, self-motivation, self-driven success, the whole 9 yards. Those 4 words work. Now, I keep that sign right handy where I can get a hold of it. I keep a laminated copy on cardstock on my fridge freezer door in the kitchen, obviously. And I've got another paper version of it on my front door before you even get into my apartment. That's first and foremost. Get that sorted out in your head. If you're not happy with the way your life is going, and I do mean any aspect of it, we are taught so many things that are backwards. I'm not interested in what you've been taught. In all fairness, I am. I'm just not going to itemize it. I will tell you, you've been raised, as I was, in fear. You've been raised to fear everything. You've been raised to fear death. You've been raised to fear life. You've been raised to fear upsetting other people. So do understand, pardon me. This is a live reading. I think that should have been, excuse me. This is a live recording. Which means all the hiccups, all the twists and turns that happen, that's me. If you ever do end up running into me in person, you'll find I'm the same way. But the first thing that's got to go, once you get that there, Get the anger that you've got towards everybody else and get rid of it. And I do mean literally. Look at it and go, I cannot control that. I just mentioned there are a number of corporations I'm dealing with that have just proven beyond a shadow of a doubt the bigger corporations are poorly run. Okay. Now, we know this, and you can see all kinds of examples. I'm not going into them. Now, understand. Okay. In order to reclaim power over your life, take a look at where your finances are. Okay. Now, you start off, you've got to get, and this is all done sort of in tandem, okay? Figure out what you've got in the bank, in your active accounts. I'm not talking your investments right now. I'm talking just in your active bank accounts. Make a note of where they are. Okay. Where did I put it? Right there. Okay. Now, I'm not, I could tell you exactly what the numbers are, but on this sheet, I've literally written down where my active accounts are standing, where the balances are. Now, here's the thing. Okay. Just for instance, because I just went through a lot. Okay. In one account, in one of my accounts, I've got just over 2,000. Never mind what's in my account. Take a look at your bank account. Let's just, for simplicity's sake, say you've only got $100 in your bank account right now. Okay. And that's all you've got. What you're targeting, the way to see that you're growing, is you go through life, and we'll get to all of that as we go along. At the end of the month, you look at your ending balance. If it is 1 penny higher than it was the month before, you're improving. It may not be fast, and people with more money, you'll see greater fluctuations. It doesn't matter about the fluctuations. Okay, find out what your starting balances are. Put a list of your bills together as to everything you own. Everything you own across the board. Okay, and I've done videos before on how to balance that out, and I will tell you, I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Okay, I would absolutely love to hear your comments. Okay, if you take a look at the list below this video, you'll see a whole list of ways of getting a hold of me. If you want to talk to me in person, let's be clear. I work with Skype, I work with Yahoo Messenger, and I work with LinkedIn. Okay, so all these neat little questions that I get of, can we set it up on WhatsApp? The answer is no. Okay, across the board, when I come up with another system I can work with, I will absolutely let people know. But for the moment, that's where it is. Okay, if you desire to drop me a line if you've got questions in any field, okay, drop me a line. If I don't have an answer, I'll tell you I cannot give you that answer. Here's where you might choose to look to get it. If I don't have an answer, I'll be straightforward and tell you. The only thing I've ever guaranteed to anybody is I won't lie to you to make you feel better. Okay, now I've got I've got one contract I signed ages ago. I'm missing the information I require in order to do anything with it. So I have it. I'm not walking away from the contract. I just don't know how to deal with it for the moment. But the way you reclaim power, okay, get those sorted around. Make sure that your office desk is set up and able to run clearly. Okay, now right now, here's the reality behind it. Okay, I've got my computer here. I've got my technically 4 monitors, because the laptop I work on has a monitor on it, obviously. Okay, I've got my landline here, and I've got my printer. That's what they call that thing. All of these are working. Okay, and I've got my painting station over there, which is now mostly clear. Okay, it's got some stuff on I've been puttering around today. Get the energy working. Okay, and even with my petty cash, it's right down here on the shelf here. So all of my financial information is right here. Get the office sorted out so it's clear and get rid of all the excess clutter. Okay. Now, you don't have to believe that what I'm telling you works. Okay, but if you haven't done it before, it is blatantly foolhardy to claim it won't work if you've never made the effort. Okay, the odds are if you haven't done it, then you've got no knowledge as to whether it'll work. And if you're not content with the way your life is, you don't have to know where it's going. Okay, I've been sitting still. I've had this company, I've had Inner Voice Enterprises for what? Since '07 for 15 years now. Okay, just about 15. It'll be 15 in August. Okay, I've had it that long. I've done jack with it because I was silly. Okay, in all fairness, I was probably stupid. I knew better and I did it anyway. I sat back and relied on the fact I had a stable income. I was working for somebody else, and I was getting paid a pittance to survive. I've been living one paycheck away from living on the street my entire life. Okay, until recently. Now, the reality of it is that I am not the best salesman because I'll tell you right now, yeah, this is a book that I wrote that works like an absolute charm. That is the backbone to how I turned my life around. Okay, and you'll notice it isn't very big. Now, if you're looking for prices, just look at the list below this video. I've got these in stock. Okay, these are the same tools I use on a day-to-day basis to keep my own life running. Okay, but the trick is decide, are you content? Are you happy with your life? If the answer is yes, then you're probably not listening to me. Okay, but I will tell you, I make everybody I ever meet happy. Everybody that ever sees me on video, I make them all happy. I know this for an absolute certainty. Some of you I make happy by getting onto the radio, onto the video, onto the radio in person. Some of you I make happy by showing up. Most people I make happy by leaving. Okay, I have all kinds of negative traits. Okay, not the least of which is, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm opinionated. Okay, there are certain topics I will not be discussing on air. Okay, I made the mistake of discussing one a little while ago. Okay, where I will not answer them on air. But I did figure out how to get my viewpoint out. Okay, and one of the books I'm working on will deal with my take on religion on the whole. I will be writing one that has to do with this whole issue of gender identity and what have you. I will put it in writing. And this is that one issue that as I get it done, when people ask me a question, I'll do exactly what I told people I won't, that it's bad. I see so many people get on the radio or get on TV, and they'll be in front of an interview, and the interviewer somebody will ask them a question, and they'll go, "Oh, I've got the information, but you'll have to buy my book." And I swore that was an absolutely pathetic excuse. But here's the thing. What I have discovered, where it comes to religion, to politics, to gender identity, to this whole racism thing. Okay, I have discovered one thing. If you say something that the people that are running the corporations that I work with do not agree with, okay, they will shut you down. This became blatantly obvious with many people. Myself, I got my hand slapped. Okay, I learn quickly, or at least I like to think I do. Heck, 59 years, that's not bad. Okay, so do I have my own take on religion? Absolutely. Do I have my own take on the whole gender identity and gay and lesbian thing? Absolutely. Quite frankly, I like the old definition of gay. Okay, gay used to mean you're happy. And I would love it if everybody were happy. I'd love a lot of things if everybody did them. But it's not going to happen that way. So you get an idea in your head. If you don't like something, where do you start? Well, where you start is the easy part. Right where you're sitting. Right here, right now. Take a look wherever you're sitting. And if you're listening to me while you're driving, For pity's sakes, put your priority where it should be. Pay attention to where the road's going. It's likely staying there, but the odds are you'll miss a corner. Okay, so take a look at what's going on, where you are. If you're in a safe place, look at what you're not content with. Okay, if you're not content with your weight, I'm living proof that simply modifying what you're eating to a more balanced meal to something more effective, okay, where it is nutritious, and moving a little more will drop weight. This garbage that is being told that it doesn't work anymore, that's not the way it works. I call it garbage because, quite frankly, I'm living proof. All I did was modify my food intake, increase my activity level, start exercising a little. And when I talk about exercising a little, I'm talking about exercising, I'm talking about exercising like 5 to 7 minutes a day right now. When I go into weight training, I will increase that to about 10 minutes. That's it. I'm lazy. What can I say? I'm right now, I sit most of the time. But you desire life in your life to get better. You can talk to anybody you choose, but if you do not get off your tail feathers and do the work, you're not going to be successful. Okay, because the only person in existence that has control over that is you. That is one of the other books I'm working on right now. Okay, now here's the thing. I keep talking about books going into print. Okay, and just real quickly, now this, just make sure I've got the right ones. Okay, and all of these are listed these are all available directly through me. Okay, we have The Birth of the Wolf Pack. We have The End of an Epoch. Now these are two out of a 12-volume series. Okay, and every one of these I've got in inventory in my possession. Okay, we've got Races of the Worlds. Okay, I'm not going into the specifics on any of them right now. This is just, I'll get to the point in about 10 seconds. We have Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. We have Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, and we have this little one. Those are self-help. The Races of the Worlds is a reference manual. This is a children's book, written and illustrated by me. Okay, this is Mr. Dreamcatcher. Now, here's the kicker. Okay, is that the one? Yeah, I've got it in the small form. I've also got Mr. Dreamcatcher in the large form. Okay, but here's what's staying focused on ingredients. If I can, do I have it right at hand? Of course not. Not that one. Okay, I'll be right back here. There it is. Left it out of range. This one, okay. This one is Mr. Dreamcatcher Reborn. Okay, just came into print, just came into my possession yesterday. Okay, that's the 7th book I've got in print. All of these are available through me directly. Yes, I do take PayPal. Okay, and the lists are all, well, in all fairness, yeah, I gotta modify that. But take a look at the list of books below this video, and you'll find it, and you'll see all the prices and what have you. Okay, now do understand the prices that are listed are Canada and U.S. and continental U.S. Okay, I do ship anywhere else. I just have to look into shipping costs for most of the places. Okay, now here's the funny kicker. I did that because I decided I'm going to make it happen. Now, at present, okay, take a look at whatever project you're sitting on. You may have put it on hold because somebody else told you, and I don't like the fact that popped up. What did that do? I had a video pop, a warning pop up right in front of me. Not healthy. Not healthy. Not healthy. Anyway, you take a look at the project. If somebody has told you you can't do it, I'll tell you. I went out, I told you I bought a car. Now they tell you you've got to have all this stuff in place. I walked onto the car lot and I said, this is what I desire. This is the price I'm willing to pay. And this is what you got to get straight in your head. Figure out what you're willing to pay, what you're able to pay, and stand your ground on. Okay. I walked onto the lot. I said, this is what I'm aiming for. Do I like that product? Certainly. Am I willing to buy it? Absolutely. However, if you can't bring it to me at this price, I walk out of here and I don't spend a nickel. Right. The way to control you, to reclaim power over your life is to go, this is what I desire. This is where my boundary is, and that's what I'm standing on. Now understand, there are laws out there. Okay, whether you agree with them or not. And rest assured, there's a lot of laws out there I don't agree with. But whether you agree with them or not, follow the law. Okay, it is absolutely critical. Okay, I mean, I hear complaints about all sorts of things, but know who the complaint is targeted at. And if it's targeted at you, take responsibility for it. I learned some pretty expensive lessons. And the idea of doing this video is to encourage people to listen to the warnings that to listen to the hiccups that I've gone through. Okay, now, I am not the oldest person. I'm not the wisest person. Debatably, I'm one of the most stubborn. But I did learn one very critical factor. It may cost more to deal with smaller companies. Okay, in some ways. Okay, in many ways. But the reality is, at least with the smaller companies, you get one-on-one service. Okay, and it falls on their lap. Now, I'm dealing with corporations now where I have to literally, I'm just a small cog, and rest assured, the amount of money that I spend on bigger companies is pocket change compared to what they make. But for me, it's a massive amount of money. Same as you. I talked to a millionaire one day, and he says, look, a nickel is a nickel is a nickel. It does not matter how many of them you've got, it's still a nickel. Okay. Now, this gentleman I used to have coffee with, and we were sitting and having coffee. He was homeless. And that I use that term really loosely in this case, but he was homeless. He did not own a home. He owned a bicycle and his clothing. Right. And he turned around, and I was talking to him one day, and somebody come along and dropped a bottle into his basket on the bike. So he was polite. He said, "Thank you very much." And I don't know why he did this. Okay, but he turns to me and he goes, I really don't need that. After the guy ran and drove off, walked off, he looks at me and he goes, I really don't need that. But he says, I do smoke. And he says, I've got to go to the grocery store anyway. So what harm is it in picking a can up and taking it back, taking it to the grocery store, and getting a nickel back for a nickel off the cost of my cigarettes? Okay, he says I've got to make money. I've got to pay for it, and that nickel still helps. Then he opens up his bank account book. He opened his bank book, and he goes, "Let me show you something." He opens it up. He had a high six-figure bank balance. A high six-figure. Okay. And he was still taking cans to the grocery store. And he's the one that point blank said, look. He says, it's a nickel. I just happen to have more of them than you do. Okay. And this is the key. That nickel is still a nickel. Money doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care what you're thinking. It doesn't care who you're crawling to bed with. Okay, money is money, and the one thing we all have that we all have in common, regardless of who you are, okay, regardless of where you came from, every single one of you is going to die. You're not going to take your stuff with you. Now, it's funny. I took a guideline from a gentleman I'm sure most of you have heard of, though some of you nowadays may not know who he is. Chap by the name of Colonel Sanders. From my understanding, he was 65 when he opened his first chicken stand. Okay. When he first took control of his life and went, I'm opening a chicken stand. People wouldn't do it his way, so 4 months later he closed the doors. A month later he reopened it, I think under a new name. Okay, I think that's when it became Colonel Sam, when it became Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay. Today he's a household name. Okay, and I always figured, I'm only, at the time I was only 50 something. I'm like, well, heck, Colonel Sanders was 65 when he got started. I got lots of time. Well, I'm only 59. Okay, and yesterday was when I got this real strong message. The corporations don't care about the individual. This is blatantly obvious on the whole. Okay, so you desire to change your life. Care about you enough to go, yes, it may cost a little more to go to other people, but know what you're aiming for, know what you're willing to deal with. If you're striving to sell something, price it at a price that you would be willing to pay. Okay, now I figured out this particular book. Whoop. This particular book, okay, it just came into print. I'm the only place that it can be gotten, that it can be acquired. Now, the thing is, I figured out what it cost me to print it. I've marked it up a little because obviously I've got to make a profit. I didn't do this for free. Okay, so I'm going to be charging more than what it cost me to print it. But you set the price at a price you would be willing to pay. That's where you go with it. Okay. And once you've done that, now you take a look at the whole way your house is. Take a look at your life. If you're not content with one aspect, look at that aspect and shift it. We're taught to fear change. Well, change is the only thing that is absolutely consistent. It's going to happen. Okay, so you modify that one step at a time. Now, I have decided that that on Saturday, I will be going live from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am going to be talking about this particular topic in detail live on video. Okay. But as we're hitting the half-hour mark here, I'm going to bring this to a close. I will be back again tomorrow. I may be back again here, but I will be back again tomorrow. Okay. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.